Hi guys, I'm Kayla with Artistic Religion, and today's video I'm going to be showing you how I got this fall makeup look. I don't know about y'all, but it's the beginning of September and I'm starting to feel fall crispness in my bones. Even though it's like 91 degrees outside, I'm starting to feel it. I love it. I am definitely a pumpkin spice harvest kind of girl. Fall is one of my favorite times of year. I enjoy it. I enjoy the makeup looks that come with it because I'm in Texas and the humidity out here is vicious. So when we get a little bit of a cool front, you can go for that full face of makeup and not worry about melting it all off. I like it. I love it. That's what today's video is about. So if you want to see how I create this look, what products I use, just keep on watching. So starting out, I'm going to do my under eye primer. This is by GLAM Cosmetics. This is the Hydrating Under Eye Primer. And I'm going to, if I can get that open, it has a cooling tip and I just kind of want a little bit of help under my eyes. I haven't been sleeping all that great. So I just wanted to put this under my eyes. It feels really good. I enjoy the cooling tip on it. And the formula seems to be good as well. I haven't used this a whole lot, so I did want to just kind of test it out again and see what I think about it. And then I'm also going to be going in with her translucent setting powder before I go in with foundation. I'm just going to put this all over my face because the foundation that I'm using does have a little bit of a luminosity to it, and I don't want it to slip and slide. I also don't want to look greasy, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on my face just before I put on my foundation. So this is GLAM Cosmetics Translucent Setting Powder, and I'm going to be taking just a big fluffy brush and applying this in a really light layer all over my face just to kind of take away any oils that I may have. And like I said, the foundation that I'm using is a little bit of a luminous foundation, so I kind of want to counteract that and just, I want the look of it, but I don't want to be greasy. I don't like to look greasy. But this time of year, I don't mind a luminous foundation. I typically prefer like a satin matte or like a natural matte. But this time of year, I don't mind a foundation that does have a little bit of sheen to it. So next I'm going to be going in with L'Oreal Infallible Foundation in the shade 420. And I'm going to apply a little bit thinner than I normally would, because I'm getting more into like that natural looking foundation rather than just like we're so caked on. Because I don't know, it's just trends in makeup change, so we're conditioned to like things that we see more often, and we're more so seeing that natural skin rather than that full face of makeup that's cakey. And I mean, it serves its purpose and it films really pretty, but in your day-to-day life, that really heavy foundation doesn't translate like it would in pictures or on camera, you know, film and stuff like that. So I just want to do a really light layer of foundation today to be a little bit more natural. And I like the way that looks over top of the powder. It's really pretty. My forehead did go a little bit splotchy, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. I do have a little bit of, my pigment up around my eyebrows is a little bit different. I'm a little bit more pink right around like this part of my eyebrows, so I just kind of want to make sure that I'm getting rid of that and that I'm creating one nice blank canvas of an even tone. I am carrying this down my neck because I don't know, to me, like when you do your makeup, like even if you're like at a medium coverage foundation, to me you do need to carry it down your neck just to get it to go with you more, because there's no way it's gonna look like your skin, if that makes sense. Like if you're doing like a sheer like skin tint, sure, you can stop at like your jawline, but if you're doing like anything over sheer, to me it does need to be blended down. That's just me. Next I'm going to be going in with Tarte Shape Tape. This is the Ultra Creamy in the shade 16N Fair Light Neutral. So this I am going to take a pretty generous amount. Take that on my eyelids as well because I don't use like eyeshadow primer. I just use my concealer. I'm going to take that down just a little bit around my nostrils because I can be a little bit red in that area. Just going to take my sponge. This is the sponge from Morphe. I really enjoy the sponge. I need to get a couple more before I run out. My beauty blenders are about shot. Like they've had pretty much all they can take. But I'm just going to be blending this out up into pretty much almost to my eyebrow and then around the nose. So I am so excited about fall. I have gotten a hold of my, what is it, Coffee Mate Pumpkin Spice Creamer, which is my favorite. I look forward to it every single year. I've already gone through a bottle of it, and I'm waiting for HEB to get their pumpkin cheesecakes that they make, because they're little like 3-inch cheesecakes and they're so good. But I'm definitely into fall. I'm one of those girls. No shame there because I just enjoy it so much. Next, I'm going to be going in with the Jaclyn Loose Setting Powder in Brightening Lilac. And I'm going to set underneath my eyes. I'm just going to take my sponge into this and go right under. Woo, that's pigmented. I'm going to take that right under my eyes. And a really light layer, well, that's not that light, on my eyelid, just to set it and to avoid any creasing, because I do have hooded eyes and I don't want my foundation to separate where my eyes crease. And I pull that down beside my nose a little bit, just to kind of, I don't know, it gives it a little bit more definition. And then also my makeup can separate right around like my little curve right there, my little crevice. So I go ahead and set that pretty heavily. So while this setting powder is kind of like baking and cooking up underneath my eyes, I'm going to go in with bronzer. This is the Ambient Lighting from Hourglass in Diffused Bronze Light. I love this bronzer, and I'm just going to go in with a big fluffy brush. It can be really pigmented, so I do like a bigger blending brush, just to kind of diffuse it a little bit better, because if you use a really dense small brush, it's going to be so intense. So this kind of blows it out a little bit more. This also does have a slight radiance to it, which is also really pretty, but it's not like, you don't have glitter particles, you just have a nice like glow, if that makes sense. I also wanted to leave that translucent powder under my eyes while I did this, because when I brush it away, it's going to kind of tone down this bronzer as well, because it is like, it's pretty intense. And normally I would go in with bronzer over my ears just to kind of make them like the correct tone, but because I do have fresh piercings, I'm not putting makeup on there. I'm having issues with my piercings healing, because even if I get a paper cut, my body wants to get a little infection, so now I have holes in my ears, and it's like, no, I don't want that there. I'm going to turn into this green nasty mess, and then I'm going to pretend like I'm okay, and you're going to think I'm okay, but I'm not okay, and I'm going to show you that I'm not okay after you already decided, you know, and realize that I am okay. Does that make sense? That's how my body is doing me. So I'm just going to blend down this translucent powder, kind of brush it away, but also kind of buffing it in over on top of the bronzer line, and kind of pressing it into my pores to kind of smooth my skin. And just with a really, really light tap of bronzer, I'm going to go in on my nose just to kind of make it a part of the makeup look where it doesn't look like it's been left out. So today I'm filming on a new lens. This is the 85mm instead of a nifty 50, and it's real close, and so that means the camera is real far away. So it feels a little bit weird. I don't know how I like it. I've got the mic kind of rigged towards me using another tripod, but it's still hooked up to the camera so it can film the sound, you know, sync the sound, all of that. It's a terrible looking contraption, but I don't know how this is going to be. I'm trying to get rid of like that shutter sound, because the lens is like on autofocus, makes that sound, and with the mic so close to it, it's too much. I don't like it. It's really distracting. But I'm having a really hard time getting my filming setup back like I like it. I'm changing things up, and I could go back into like where I was filming previously, but I was sitting on the floor, and that just kind of hurts your body a little bit. Like my back was, you know, I don't know. So let me know what you think of like this setup of all my new videos that I've been filming. Like, do you like the background? Do you miss like the really detailed backgrounds that I used to do? Let me know. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my lips because I like to do my lips before I do my eyes, so I don't know why. I don't know if I just don't like the look of like a blank lip, so I rather look at blank eyes than a blank lip, or if it helps me like kind of guide my eyeshadow into like the right color. I don't know, but I'm gonna go in with Maybelline Totally Toffee. This is 115. This is a wonderful lip liner. Don't sleep on Maybelline lip liners. And I'm just gonna line my lips. I love this color. It's a nice brownish rose color, but it's not pink, and I don't like pink. If you struggle with getting like your lipstick how you like it, I highly recommend using a lip liner. It makes a world of difference using a lip liner. I don't know how people don't do it. And to me, it just helps hold everything into place. I am going to feather that kind of into my lips a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just some. So because my lip liner is super warm and my shirt is very cool tone, I am going to go in with a more cool tone lipstick just to kind of counteract that a little bit, because I want this to all flow. I want this to be a cohesive look, and this is Jeffree Star Cosmetics in Jeffree's Nudes, and I'm just going to take that kind of in the blank areas that we left behind and more so dab it, and that's kind of an in-between. Not too warm, not too cool. It's nice and kind of like in between. Y'all already know. YSL Rouge Volupté number 42. This is the clear, because this is what makes a liquid lipstick wearable, hydrated, beautiful, perfection. Best thing ever. If you haven't gotten one of these, you need to. Don't sleep on these. Oil and stick, Rouge Volupté, whatever you want to call it, YSL, get one of these things. Next, I'm going to be going in with Jaclyn Cosmetics Rouge Romance palette. This is the blush palette. It is beautiful, and I'm going to be going in with this shade right here. I might go in a little bit with this orange, but that shade is Pretty Posh, and the orange shade is Tea Room. So I'm going to kind of do a mixture of both of those. So just a little dip into both of those. I'm going to tap off the excess because these are very pigmented. And I'm just going to kind of take that from the apples of my cheeks and kind of blending that upward, and then stippling right over top of my pores. And since I am going to be doing a pretty dark and dramatic look on my eyes, I don't mind going heavier with my blush. Plus, blush is one of the first things to fade on makeup, so this isn't going to be what this looks like in an hour or two from now. So for my eyes, I was debating on whether or not I wanted to do the Jaclyn Hill palette with Morphe, or if I wanted to do Natasha Denona Biba palette. Now, this whole video has been a lot of Jaclyn, so I think I'm going to go in with Natasha Denona. This is a neutral palette that is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and this does have the tones that I wanted to use. It might not be quite as like pigmented with like that cranberry color. I did kind of want to use that, but we're going to make a really pretty look with this. Alright, so the names of these bad boys, I don't necessarily know how to pronounce. Pasha, I don't know, but I'm going to go in with this shade right here, and I'm going to take that under my lower lash line. I often like to start under my lash line, on the lower lash line, when I'm creating dramatic looks, just to kind of give me an idea, and then plus that's such a dramatic part of a look that I kind of like to already see it come into life first. I know a lot of people save this for the last step, but I really just enjoy doing it first and letting my look kind of carry from around, like the bottom to the top. Just carrying that all along my lower lash line. Going in with the same shade on the same fluffy brush, I'm going to start tapping that on my outer corner and carrying it a little bit upward, but I'm going to stick more so to my outer corner into my crease. And I am going to kind of go along with the direction that your lower lash line kind of goes in, so it's not such a rounded look. I'm pretty bad about doing just like round, and I want to start doing a little bit more of a winged out look. This isn't going to be like winged out, but just a little bit more where it carries out a little bit further. So I'm just stippling that, and I like to do stippling motions more than swiping because my eyes are hooded, so when I drag a brush it folds my lid because I do have extra skin up here. It kind of makes it ripple and it leaves those marks, and I don't like that. Going in on the other side, stippling, still sticking with the stippling motion. And to me it does give you a little bit more of a controlled look, because when you swipe, I don't know, it can go too far too quick. I like this color. It's kind of a cranberry brown. There's definitely like a berry tone in the brown, but it's not a true cranberry either. Going in with a different brush, I'm going to be taking kind of a mixture of this yellow color and this more brown color. This is Prairie and Freckle. So I'm going to be going in just kind of a tap tap on both of these, and I'm just going to be pressing that right over the edge of that previous shade and then my bare skin, and that's where we're going to start to blend. Keep going back and forth between both of those shades just to kind of dabble back and forth to make our own color. And then with shades like this where they are a little bit closer to my skin tone or not quite as dark and dramatic, I will start to do some swiping motions because it carries better to me than a dark shade does. Dark shades, they make terrible lines on me. So I'm doing the same thing to the other eye, just stippling in those two shades, Prairie and Freckle. So this is creating kind of our own shade, kind of more of a brown mustard rather than just a true like Dijon, if you will. And I am starting to swipe back and forth just to help with that blend a little bit. With this same brush, even though it is a big fluffy brush, I'm just going to be more careful with it. I'm going to take those two shades again and run that along my lower lash line, looking up when I do this so I don't carry it too far down. Same thing on the other eye, looking up. Looking up when you do your lower lash line definitely does help, because if you're looking downward at it, I don't know, it makes your shadow carry too far down. So if you're looking up, it definitely does help. So with the original blending brush that I'm going to do, I'm going to take the shade Rayon. This is more like a creamy matte. It's a little bit different in formula than the previous shades. It's not a true matte. So I'm going to just tap this on my outer corner. Going in again on the other side. This does have a little bit of fallout to it, not terrible though. And carrying that up a little bit into the crease just with my stippling. So I'm taking my brush flat where it just kind of bounces up on top of the lid. I like this color scheme with my lip combo. It's really pretty. And I guess that's another reason why I like to do my lips first, because I can see the tone that things are going. Because I hate when you get your beautiful eye look and then you put on your lip and you're like, this is not how I thought this was gonna go. Back in with the other fluffy brush, no additional product, just buffing. So I am swiping back and forth like windshield wiper motions all along that edge so I don't have any harsh lines. So I am going to do a little bit of a cut crease with this because I do want a little bit more of a dramatic contrast. So I'm just taking a flat shader brush with some of my concealer over the top. Not a whole lot because I don't want to like completely carve out the lid. I just more so want to give a nice brightness and a little bit more of a tacky base for my shimmer shade to go on. Carrying that where my lid naturally creases. I'm not trying to go super far above it, like fake an eyelid that I don't have. I'm just brightening up the area. My eyes are gonna start to water. Ah! So I left this outer corner without any concealer on it because I don't want to cover that up. Going in for the other side, just following my natural lid. That cold concealer every time makes my eyes water. Whew. This is why I don't cut my crease very often, is because I cannot stand the way it feels. With the same brush that I took that concealer, I'm just going to kind of wipe the concealer off, any residual off the brush. But I'm going to take this same shader brush and dip into, let's see, let's go in with the shade Monroe. This has a little bit of like a pinkish hue, but not overkill. It just has kind of a different tone to it, and I like that. so it picks up really good on the brush. I am going to tap off a little bit because it does look like it's going to kind of dip a little bit. And I might, let's see, I might take my finger, I might not. Nah. Just going to dip into that and just put that all where I laid that concealer down. And when you do cut your crease, you want to avoid like doing that until you have powder or something on, because it will transfer super, super high, and it might be higher than what you were originally planning to go. Like me, I'm not trying to create a big new eyelid. I have hooded eyes. I'm not trying to make a new shape out of my eye. I'm cool with the shape I've got. I just want to give some brightness to it. So on a different flat shader brush, I am going to take the shade Rayon. Let's see where that's at. So this is kind of that satiny matte. It's just kind of a different texture, and I like that. So I did pack on both sides of my brush, and I'm just going to stamp this along the edge. And I'm not trying to blend with these shades yet, because I'm going to take a third shade for my lid. So I'm not worried about that harsh line between the two colors right now. And I'm looking straight on into my mirror to make sure that I've got about the same spacing on both sides. Alright, so going in with my finger, I'm going to take the shade Rustic, and I'm going to run this between the light and that dark shade, just tapping this in between to really diffuse that harsh line and kind of help blend those two shades together. So it's a little bit more diffuse, it's not quite so harsh. So back in with the flat shader brush that I used for the shade Monroe, I'm going to go back in with that shade and lay that in my inner corner. A little wet, sorry, don't have any setting spray. We do what we gotta do. So I'm going to lay that in my inner corner because I do like a pretty bright pretty bright. I love a beaming inner corner. That's just my thing. This color is not quite as light as what I wish it was. On a darker skin tone, like a pretty bronze skin tone, this would be gorgeous. But it is a little deep for me because I like a pretty white inner corner. I'm gonna kind of take that along my lower lash line. And that is the lightest shade in this palette. It's still pretty, but I do wish that it was a little bit lighter. Alright, so I'm going to go in with some mascara. This is MAC Extended Play Giga Black. And I'm just going to put that all over my lashes, the top and the bottom. I don't wear false lashes. I can't put them on. This look would be really pretty with false lashes, but like I said, I cannot put them on. You think concealer makes my eyes water? False lashes would make me quit this video. Couldn't finish it. It'd be red-eyed and ugly. I do like this mascara. I know a lot of people prefer this mascara for just their lower lash line, but I actually really like it for my top lashes as well. Alright, and that is it for my first fall look of the year. I love this look. I think it's beautiful. I like the dramatic cut that crease gives because it just throws in a little bit more bright and intense look. This is a very wearable look. I would feel comfortable wearing this out, even though it does bring in quite a bit of color. You do have that kind of orangey mustard up in your crease buffed out, and then with a little bit of like that hint of cranberry. It's not in your face dark cranberry, but it's just a little bit hint of that tone. I really like this look. I like my lip color with it. This went a little bit bright. I forget how brightening that Jaclyn Hill setting powder is. Like that is bright. The blush will fade as time goes on. That's just how this goes, but I like this look overall. I'm very happy with it, and I feel pretty. I feel good. I feel really nice and not in your face, but it's definitely fall. I like how the setting powder went underneath this foundation. It gave it more of the look that I wish it had on its own because it's not too luminous. Like, I don't look oily. I look nice and set in place. And that's one thing, like with filming videos, I really like my foundation to not be overly shiny because it bounces back with the camera and the light and stuff like that. It reflects really bad, so I like a more of a matte look. So this worked out for me. I really like it. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. If you want to see more fall looks from me, or just specific looks in general, say you want a specific color, like you want to see neon green, just tell me in the comments. I will be happy to film it. I like playing with makeup. This is definitely a creative outlet for me. It's something that I really enjoy doing, and I like the transformation, going from like a completely blank canvas to creating these little pieces of art that you'll never have exactly again. Even if you do this look repeatedly, it's never going to be quite the same, and I appreciate that about makeup, and I appreciate the fact that you can change things about your face. You can extend your eyes, you can do those siren eyes, you can do doe eyes, you can do a really heavy cupid's bow or more of a popsicle lip. I like that you can transform your face. I like that about this, and I can be a chameleon if I want to be a chameleon. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you want to see more looks from me. If you want to be notified when I post, hit the bell. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.